Hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name is TJ. I'm here with Dan and Colin as always. How you guys doing tonight? What's going on?
I just want it to end.
What?
Your life. No, that was is that where you were going with that
Sort
reference?
of, yeah, sort of.
Okay, good. Well, no one knows what it is, so perfect.
I'm doing pretty good. I have a sense of relief. After last week's podcast, I was pretty worried TJ gave me COVID, and I just took my test, and I'm COVID negative, thank God. But be careful who you podcast with, because it's going around. It's pretty serious Omicron.
Oh wait, it's gone digital?
Yeah.
I was yelling into the microphone quite a bit, I remember.
we were potting in the metaverse. It's fully new Matrix is out. It's all happening.
Oh, which I heard it's awful.
Yeah, I'm still gonna watch it.
100% going to watch it. I was reading reviews and I'm just like confused about what the premise is, but I mean,
I think that's the problem. I think people are like in the middle of the movie. Apparently, there's a bunch of they make fun of the franchise during the movie. They make alluding to the fact that they shouldn't have made the movie, which is I feel like something you shouldn't do in a Matrix movie. I don't know. That seems
that's
off.
the point, man.
I think there was a huge part of it that Wachowski's directed this one too, or wrote it. It's
just one of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's the whole thing how it got the red pilling thing became political, and sort of clapping back against that. I think.
Oh.
But I don't know. I know Young Morpheus is in it, and Young Morpheus is the greatest name for either a rapper or a dog.
Is that his actual
Dan,
name?
what is can you explain what red pilling is for all the listeners, or should we skip that?
In the sense of the Matrix, or in the sense of the idiots that make up half the country?
Oh man, we just lost a lot of listeners.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Gonna bleep that.
No.
Just like very good people on both sides.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I am leaving quarantine tomorrow to go back to work, which is of course very exciting for me. But yeah, I had COVID and I was sick for like 3 days, and then I just sat around and read and played video games, played with my daughter. My brother came over for Christmas because he also got COVID, so we did a COVID Christmas. We drank a lot of beer, and it was a good time.
Didn't taste it, but I'm sure it was fun.
I hadn't drank in 7 days, and boy, we were hungover the next day. I hadn't felt like that in a long time. I think I just forgot to drink water. It's a very big mistake.
Yeah.
You think I'd be good at this by now, but apparently I faltered. It's unfortunate.
Well,
you try to be the best, but sometimes you fail.
You gotta pick yourself up by your bootstraps, TJ, like a good American.
Yeah, right.
Darn right. Wow. This is an interesting start to this podcast.
I don't know. This is all coming out.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, we have a flow now. We have a formula. We don't talk about them because we don't want to, and then we have to.
Yeah, I know. Well, let me do my thing here. Subscribe to Big Blue United, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Podnet and Twitter. Download that DraftKings app. And exciting news, this hopefully will be our first video podcast, and we'll hopefully have this up on YouTube, barring any extraordinary circumstances where I can't figure anything out. But one of the benefits of being home all week was that I actually had time to figure out how to do this. So excitement.
TJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our strategy has always been, if we ever have an uptick in listeners, the next episode we try to alienate them as much as possible. So by seeing our faces in video, we can hopefully cut down on a huge chunk of the new listeners we've recently acquired. That's
right. We had a big bump from El Jefe at Pilgrim's Point at New York Revival last week, and that was nice. We had a good time talking to him. So now, if we have any of that carryover, let's just immediately squash that.
Yeah.
Head right back to the normal listener count. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well,
politics and ugly faces.
This is the Punk Rock Giants podcast. That's why we don't want we're the anti-establishment. This is what this is.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night, or
red,
keeps you going and doing this every week. Because
red pill, blue pill, whatever.
It's doing this every week becomes harder and harder and harder. So should be
just like life.
Yeah, totally. So let's hop into. We could talk about the Eagles game for a bit, but I think the most important thing here is that the news coming out that Judge and Jones are coming back next year. Before I kind of get into my feelings on this, I just want to know what your preliminary reaction was when you heard this news. And do you believe it to be 100% true, Colin?
100%, 1,000% true. Of course, this is the way it's going to be. I think we mentioned it earlier in the season that it was inevitable that they were going to bring both of them back, force feed them onto whoever ends up getting hired as the GM, give themselves a free pass of a year when they inevitably fail, get rid of both of them, and then the GM can pick whoever they want. So basically, it's a thrown away year that we're going to have next year, inevitably.
On top of the past 2 throwaway years we've had.
But we know it's going to be automatically thrown away. So that's great.
And I mean, are you guys factoring in the Kevin Abrams piece of this, or just Judge and
I mean, that's the next thing I want to ask you. But I mean, if you want to just hop into that, go for it, man. Do it.
No, I mean, I wish I could say I was surprised, but I think we all sort of thought this was the most likely outcome. I can tell you it doesn't inspire much excitement. I'm sort of grateful now. I can really delve into my F1 racing fandom that has just started for me next fall on Sundays. There's nothing. A lot of people saying it. There's nothing to look forward to. There's no excitement. And Colin and I were talking. I think we were all talking about this on a thread. The sort of the concept of losing. Not just fly-by-night fans, but true good Giants fans. And I'm sure Colin wants to talk about that later. Yeah. But for me, like, it's something that's evolved over the years where sometime in like the mid Jerry Reese years, I started to get like really into the draft and looking at future prospects when the writing was on the wall for the season. And that became something sort of fun. And then it eventually became like my number one thing to do in these most recent years under Gettleman, looking towards the draft and how we can fix the team. And now it's gone so far where that doesn't even interest me anymore. I'm still running mock drafts now, but nothing good is going to come of them. None of the ideas that we come up with or things we fantasize about will come to fruition. They've really just figured out ways to zap the fun out of every aspect of being a fan, and it's pretty incredible.
Just riffing off of that, there was one. I don't even want to call it positive, but it was nice to see. I don't remember what the article was, but someone came out and said that it is very, very likely that John Mara might look outside the organization for the GM. I saw it. It was late today. I saw it. And I was like, well, I'm even surprised that that's even coming out.
Because there's Steinberg?
I mean, who?
No. It wasn't the fake guy. Let me ask you,
who wants this job? If you have no control coming in, who would want this job?
No one.
That's why I feel like, it has to be Abrams. I think that's already been decided. And whether or not, Colin, I really hope you're right. I could deal with another year of this if the eventuality is that, there's a thought that it's time to move on and hire someone outside the organization. That being said, Dan, you talked about the draft. And I think that when it comes to that, for me, if Gettleman is gone, I think there's a little more hope there. I mean, obviously the Giants are going to have 2 high picks, but you remember that article that came out? Everyone was talking about it like 2 weeks ago. It was like anonymously done and saying, McAdoo wanted Mahomes and X number of scouts wanted to go Chubb and Quentin Nelson, but then Dave was just like, nah, let's not do it. Let's do it my way. I'm not going to say that Abrams is not going to listen to those people moving forward. So, I mean, I do think that there is a little more hope without Gettleman involved. But that being said, okay, the Giants are 17-46. And before we get into doing, is this good? They have a negative 376 point differential. Negative 376 point differential in the past 4 years. The Giants are the worst team in football in the past 4 years. And John Mara chooses to continue with the same thing. It's absolutely insane. I can't understand it, and I don't even want to attempt to understand how you look at this from his perspective and then just be like, before the season is over, we're going to tell all the fans that these 2 guys are coming back. 2 people that have brought you 0 success, that have brought you 0 winning seasons. I mean, like, I'm confused. And I think we're all confused. It's a really hard time to be a Giants fan.
The stench is so bad. The team is so bad. Everything is so incredibly bad. There's no justification for keeping anything intact. There's no rationale you can give me to say that anyone on this team or in the front office deserves another chance. What are we pointing to where anyone has earned that? What flashpoints indicate that they're going to get it right moving forward? And the Kevin Abrams thing, like holding out all hope that he might listen to the scouts. First, who are those scouts? Because they're not good in the first place. And secondly, if he's the second most powerful person in the running of the team, he just sat idly by and let Dave Gettleman just run this team into the ground, run the salary cap into the ground, handcuff us for the future. If he was so good at this, how come we have no cap space moving into the next year when he's going to take over? Why is he restructuring contracts so we can't even sign rookies that we draft? I don't know.
Did I send you whatever some tweet saying?
Yeah, share that. Yeah.
Do I have it right here? I hope so. I'll just paraphrase. Basically, they have to restructure so many contracts that right now, officially on the roster, there's only 44 players technically on the team when you're supposed to have 53, because they on paper don't have the money to pay everybody.
I mean, look, I was just trying to find a positive in all this, but I think that there obviously isn't one. Yeah. There isn't one.
I mean, I could say all right. The one positive I can say is that and the inevitability of Abrams getting the job, because it feels like it's already a shoo-in, he has to do whatever the opposite that Gettleman did. He has to, even if it goes against his dumb brain. He has to try to do something different. So I don't know. Maybe the scouts end up being, better. I don't know.
I'm having a hard time compartmentalizing. I never could say that word. Him in this front office now, I can't. I already hate him. Like, I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to see what he can do. Like, he is, the second, most responsible person for all this outside of Mara and Gettleman. I don't want to give him a chance and let him figure it out. Just blow the whole thing up.
We don't know. What a good question is, why did they fire Ben McAdoo? If he was 13 and 15 with a playoff berth, why did they fire him?
Scapegoats.
Haircut.
They needed one.
Haircut. It was a bad haircut.
Bad suit.
Also, if the Giants lose the last two games, that means Judge will have one more win than Shermer did, and Shermer got fired as well. But we're 100% keeping Judge.
Yeah.
There's just no rhyme or reason to any of this. It's just
they like the cut of his jib.
I hate that phrase, and I hate it so much. He's not a good coach. You watch this. You watch the Eagles game. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. He's not a good coach. You could point to 100 things in this game as to why he's bad at his job. And don't give me the freaking press conference too is just absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Big Action Bill on Twitter says Joe Judge looks like a Long Island middle school gym teacher who would yell at you for making a mistake during square dancing. And here's the picture that for reference.
I love that. He's basically our age. He's 4 years older than us.
And he might as well be 75 and retired.
Exactly. He might just hang it up, man. I'm sure there's somebody out there who needs a special teams coordinator. The Giants really need one because the special teams is atrociously bad. But maybe a different team might need you more.
Yeah. He looks like the kind of guy where his top 5 movies are all Avengers movies.
Yeah. Yep.
I like that. That's a good one.
That's great.
He loved the new Matrix.
He only listens to Wagon.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't watch Matrix. That's too technologically advanced, and plus those directors, he can't support that kind of thing.
Of course. Oh boy. Do we want to get into this Eagles game? It's just so bad. I don't know what to say. Oh. Let's tie this into what we were just talking about. How many times did they make the most head-scratching third down play call you've ever seen in your life?
Oh, well, the one is the best. You know what I'm going for this one. Really fake out the defense and making them think that we're going to go for it. Actually, this was on 4th down. But rush the punt team on the field last minute to really catch him off guard. That was spectacular. Really great special teams play there, Joe. Yeah, why?
They did it a number of times, and Vilma, as much as he is not a great color guy, pointed it out like it was a good thing, but how a third and long, and okay, we're going to run it up the gut for 4 yards, which is going to give us more space to punt, which is a great way to play the field position game. It's insane. And then to touch back to the press conference, Joe Judge says the special teams gave us some great field position today.
Sick. Are those points? Is that what like an AKA for points?
I have this information, and it was like the worst game of Riley Dixon's career. The Giants punted 8 times, and hang on.
What's with him being awful, by the way?
His punts were 28, 38, 33, 33, 31, and 36 yards.
We could do that. I could do that.
And honestly, number 35 on that first punt when he just stopped trying to play. That is also indicative of the coaching. I think it was
Darqueze Dennard.
Yeah.
He was out of bounds. He was, so he couldn't touch the ball.
Okay, all right. Then we can give him that.
Thank you, Dan, because that was just like really infuriating when I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, Vilma said Vilma's funny when there were 7 minutes left in the second, and they're running it again in 3rd and 10 when they're in field goal range, and Vilma just goes, "It must be really frustrating to be a Giants fan." I'm just like, I hate you. Just never call a game again.
Well, his former Jetsdom just like shows when he calls Giant games. Like he doesn't like the Giants.
I mean, he's right. It's not that he's wrong. It's just like something I don't. It's just frustrating that, and he's right. It's frustrating to be a Giants fan, and it's frustrating to have to hear any announcer tell you how frustrating it is to be a Giants fan while you're watching your favorite team get blown out for God knows how many times this year and in the last 4 years, or beyond that.
And that's why I wanted Kenny Albert to just tell him off so many times. And apparently he did. I must have missed when he was talking a little bit of trash back to him.
Something about like when Hurts was hosting Devonta Smith at Alabama, and they were watching film, and Kenny Albert was like, "Well, I guess if you had ever watched any film, you might have been won the Heisman Trophy too." And Phil was like, "Well, it was like I was in Miami."
Yeah, I had a great time. I did film the next year, not that night though.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't dislike Kenny Albert. I feel bad that they put him with Vilma because it's unfortunate to have to listen to him just like screw up players' names several times during each game.
A little bit of a tangent. Have you ever noticed, and it drives me absolutely nuts, when they put the camera on the commentators and they have the automatic, they have to hold their hands like this because they don't know what to do with their hands. When they put their fingers together because they're like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so infuriating. It's like, okay, just put them in your pockets. I don't need to see your hands. But anyway.
Yeah, I can't comment a lot on the commentary, the play-by-play or the color, because I've been really getting good at fast forwarding through my DVR to watch these games, and it's really easy when you're watching a Giants game because you can just literally keep it on fast forward and see nothing happen or like straight up no forward progress, and you can just skip through quarters really fast. I spent my day actually, by the way, going to a train show at the Bronx Botanical Gardens. I highly recommend it if you have little children. It'll blow their brains out if they like trains. And having a nice lunch on Arthur Avenue. Like a true paisan. Trad de Noy.
Where'd you go?
Trad de Noy.
Nice.
It's excellent, classic American Italian food. Highly recommend it if you're looking to do something next time the Giants play.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I'm sure my daughter would love that train thing.
Yeah,
she loves all the things that kids love.
It's really
trains
cool. They put the
animals
trains
and
through
whatnot.
the botanical garden, so it's like the trains are weaved through the plants and everything.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. It's a little chilly, but I mean,
it's indoors.
Whatever. It's indoors.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
this is exciting.
They used to serve alcohol too, but I don't think they do that anymore.
Well, I think that you've just planned my next weekend and my next Sunday.
Dan,
Exactly.
do you think
There you go.
Do you think you can get those things up to 88 miles an hour or
The trains?
Yeah.
to travel, when do you want to go? Where do you want to go with
1883 is where I want to go.
I want to go
Back to the Future
to
3?
Yeah.
2007 or 2011. How about that?
This is the
If
second
you
week in a row
remember-
that I'm making a Back to the Future reference, so I guess we'll just do Inception and Bob Zemeckis, and that's it.
I'll go to 2002 and make our band in high school super good, and then we could tour like the country and the world.
That would have been cool.
That'd be sick. But we wouldn't be able to do it with our 2002 brains. We need to have our brains now.
That's true.
Give the people what they want.
The more of the world needed to hear those crates.
Yeah, maybe spend some money on equipment that didn't sound like trash.
Hey, I like my crate cabinet and head or whatever it was.
You bought yourself a real rig towards the end of the run there for Last Action Hero with that Marshall.
That's right. I was working
SG.
at the vet, and I spent half my money on weed and the other half on guitars and whatnot. So it was a good time. High school was cool. I can't complain about high school.
Yeah. You used to do drugs, still do, but you used to too.
Yeah. Well, marijuana is legal in New York and New Jersey, right. So you can't really say it's drugs. I mean, here you are, Dan, sipping a nice bourbon, neat there, and what's the difference at this point?
Same.
Yeah. I mean, see, I got this nice 10% IPA. I'm drinking. It's really good.
Do you think the founding fathers were smoking weed when they wrote the Constitution, TJ? Yeah. Do you think that was part of their idea of America?
I'm sure somebody was.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, they were drinking, and
Ben
also
Franklin.
They had that low alcohol ale that was like replaced water because the water was disgusting. So just everyone was drinking beer all day long. Children, babies, old people, didn't matter.
That's right.
And you wonder how we got to where we are today.
Anyway, I wanted to ask
so
you
what
guys,
were we talking about?
Yeah.
I think we should talk about. I mean, there's nothing to say about this game. We have two horrendous backup quarterbacks that shouldn't be backup quarterbacks.
Oh, boy.
Maybe they should try out for the Canadian League or just go coach high school somewhere.
Or the USFL that's coming out next year.
Sure.
Again.
Go for it.
Another USFL?
Yeah, in the spring.
This is why?
Because I don't know.
I know. It's a tax write-off for the rich. That's
exactly it.
When the league folds, then you don't have to pay taxes. I got you.
Yeah.
Buy a stake in the New Jersey Generals with Donald Trump, who was the previous owner.
I was going to bring him up, but I decided against it. Thanks for doing it anyway. I wanted to say the only positive, and again, Lorenzo Carter showed up 2 weeks in a row, so that's kind of cool, and I was happy about that. That strip sack was sweet. He was all over the place. The defense was pretty decent when they were given a shot to be until they got tired, of course, which is the same thing.
Well. Here's what I think. It's like, okay, you played that first half really well, and everyone was trying. And then, I don't know if it was the first or second drive, the Giants had the ball in the second half. You throw a pick, sets you up for an easy touchdown. They score, and then why do you try after that?
Yeah,
there's no point. Joe Judge isn't going to motivate these guys to do that at this point. At what point do you realize that maybe the players aren't buying in like everybody thinks they are?
Well, when you start watching, as Ian alluded to in one of his tweets, about the route running by our number one wide receiver who has given up weeks ago.
Oh, Kenny? Yeah, I mean, no separation, no attempt.
No, he secured the bag and he's 1 foot out the door. His agent's already talking to other teams, guaranteed.
That's fine. You know what? If they can move on from that contract, that's a great idea in the offseason because
I agree.
There's plenty of guys that need to get shipped out, and whether or not he's one of them, I don't think he will be. But if that does happen, I think that's a net positive all around for this team.
Because I know it's bad, and it's not fun to play for a team like this. But you got Andrew Thomas, who's balling out. He's balling out. He's playing.
It's one guy.
Yeah, and he has not stopped trying. It's wonderful to see because he knows that it's his career, his future is dependent on him showing up now. And you know what? Good for him. Power to him. But
I mean, I get it when you're like Galladay or something. Fromm was just atrocious. He was. I mean, at the I loved what he said at the end of the game. He said, "I would say my performance is not ideal." It's like, really, dude, you have -4 yards passing in the first quarter. You're 6 for 17 with 25 yards in the pick. Yeah, not ideal.
At least he's realistic about it. Unlike our head coach. I mean, where are you guys at with his pressers? I know we touched on it a second ago, but
I had to stop watching them. I can't do it.
It's so asinine. It's just the same contrived drivel that you expect, from a head coach. And at least at this point, just tell us something about reality. It's like you keep just saying these things like you saw this good stuff. What on offense did you see this game that was good? Name one thing. Was it when Fromm threw Tony that screen and threw it behind him at his feet? Like, you're supposed to get these dudes the ball in space, and you can't do anything. They threw Saquon one ball, he had -4 yards, and then they don't do anything. He's averaging 2.1 yards a carry. And, I mean, there's literally Devontae Booker is maybe the one thing you could say that's good on offense, and then they don't even give him the ball.
I also don't appreciate him not answering questions and saying, I need to watch the tape before I comment on that.
It's such an easy cop-out.
Come on, dude. Also, I just saw this, and Jordan Renan tweeted it about Saquon not making himself available to speak in press conferences. He hasn't done it after this game, after the game, or the day after. And as a leader and captain, where's the accountability there? You have Mike Glennon and Fromm and Devontae Booker, talking to the press. Saquon's supposed to be a leader and a captain of the team. How is he not owning up or speaking to the press? Is he? What's his rationale for that? What kind of
Larry Tynes on his podcast said, I think it came out today, that it's about time that they actually sit him, not even just have him second fiddle. Sit him next Sunday. Give it to Booker and give it to whoever else. Have Penny take a couple of handoffs. Who cares? Just sit the guy. If he's just going to be that bad and not be a leader, like you're saying, well, then just let him feel a little taste of humble pie, and just kind of like
he's got to be embarrassed. He's embarrassed by his play, and I would be too if I were him.
And you got to step up as a leader and just sit there and take it when you're embarrassed.
Fromm went out there. It doesn't get any worse than that.
He had probably the worst game a quarterback's had in the
He's
NFL
not gonna get another shot
all year.
That's
it for him. Yeah.
Well, and that's
he went out there and did the press conference.
It's too bad because he was pretty damn good in college, and I think that was young man nerves, and he just he crapped the bed. I wouldn't write him off forever, but yeah, he did a poor job.
He doesn't have an NFL arm.
No, he doesn't.
He cannot make throws. He cannot make half the throws. He can't make a quarter of the throws. When they say guys can make all the throws, maybe a quarter of them.
Well, you could tell when those cross body, cross field outs, he's really, really trying hard to get it there, and it almost looked like it hurts. Almost like side arming it because he's got to flick it, and it's like, man, that's not even Chad Pennington level. That's like me.
I mean, you thought Glennon was bad. I mean, it kind of gives you a little hope to have. I mean, you almost want Jones back, real bad.
Well,
for how bad these two guys are. I mean, we thought Glennon was bad, and then we saw this. I mean, Glennon almost had 100 yards, albeit it was just all dinking and dunking. But I mean, he did throw that interception, but that pick he threw was. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember how cool that interception was that the Eagles had against him. Deflected off one dude, and then they scored a touchdown, and I was like, well, I'm going to turn this off now.
Yeah, well.
So that was the best part of the game for me because it gave me a reason to stop watching.
I don't get it. My DVR has really been screwing me over lately. It wasn't like the game went longer than it normally did, but there was 6 minutes left in the game, and it just shut off. Just you're done.
Just be happy, man. Just be happy.
DVR was looking out for you, man.
I think my TV knows my pain, I guess.
What did Bob Ross used to say? There's no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Yeah.
That's a real happy accident for you, if I've ever heard of one.
All right. Well, and we have the title of the episode, I guess.
Happy accident. Yeah. I mean, okay. I want to share Saquon's numbers here because I think it's interesting. So in his first 2 years, 29 games, 3,400 scrimmage yards, 23 touchdowns. Last 2 years, 777 scrimmage yards, 4 touchdowns. Even if that production continued from the first 2 years, it's not worth to pay him $7+ million in this 5th-year option, which is going to happen, by the way. I don't even know, it might already have been exercised, but he's not a leader. He's not a workhorse. He's not worth the money. It's time to move on. But we're not gonna, because we're gonna do this phantom year next year, if we're lucky, how Colin described earlier. They'll never get rid of him because it's not only embarrassing for him, but it's embarrassing for Mara too.
Yep, and he'll go to his grave with it, then let it out. Even though it's obvious that his mistakes are already out there, he somehow thinks they're not. So by holding on to these players and these poor draft picks, it makes him feel better about his decisions somehow. Well, guess what? Less people are paying money to go to your games. So why don't you try something different now, John?
I wish we could organize a boycott of the last game or something. Just don't sell your tickets, don't go to the game. I know it'll never happen, but there's no other way to make this man realize that the fans are mad. Some detached old billionaire sitting in his mansion, raking in the cash every week. Why does he care what we think? He doesn't.
Do you know why it hurts so much for me in particular? And I had this conversation with my dad over the weekend, just kind of talking about the state of things. And actually, no, Steph, my wife, asked him about the intricacies of how we got the tickets in the first place, who the people were that made it happen. There was this guy, Ray Walsh, that was a very good close friend of the Maras, go figure, because it's all the close friends, who also knew my grandfather. Long story short, he had this job, couldn't do it anymore. Actually, it was this other guy who had the job, couldn't do it anymore. He was an NYPD cop and gave the job to my grandfather. So long story short, the Maras in general as a family have done so much for my family over the years that it hurts that much more to see how far it's fallen. And I'm like embarrassed even more because of it. I want to support them. That's why I've been so like, dyed in the wool. Like I am the homer. You guys know me forever. I was the ultra homer. Everything's positive. Next year we're going to do it. And it's gone. And the fact that the good fans are starting to feel this way. I mean, poor license plate guy is trying his hardest to just like fight off the angry fans that are blasting him all over social media. And, I get it. He has to. He's like the face of the fan base. I get it. But like, I don't know. It's very tough now. And the fact that there are people who cared for so long who are starting to not. And, the draft isn't even exciting because we're just inevitably expecting them to do the wrong thing. And how could you look forward to something like that? You can't. And when is the change going to happen? It seems like it's this cycle downward, and they just are so stubborn and reluctant for change that it doesn't matter how bad they are. And I can't believe that. It really bums me out. And it's I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to change it. That's why I keep saying like, oh, Mara, sell the team. They'll never sell the team. But something has to come out of that. What comes out of that? Actually letting go of the reins a little bit and letting someone else take over? I mean,
what does it take to get there? It's like if we're not there now, then what more is it going to take for them to realize what's going on? You're the worst team in football, and you're bringing back all the same people to do the same thing all over again and put us all through this again.
The Lions have a worse record. They are a far better team than we are.
The Giants, well, I mean, even if you do, the last 4 years, they do have the worst record. I mean, yeah, the Lions are a better team than the Giants. We saw them beat Arizona. The Giants can never come close to doing that. The Giants offense can never put together a game where they score, any number of points in meaningful time where they could beat a team like that.
I did actually say it. This argument has been had in the past. People are like, no, that's not possible. But you know what? I'm going to say it right now. This Giants team would lose to Alabama right now. They would outright. They'd lose. It's true. They would lose.
I mean, I don't know.
Alabama would have a better game plan. That's for sure.
Well, that's what I mean.
It's almost like you should just end the episode after what you just said. Because I mean, what else can you say? I mean, your family has been involved with the Giants for so long. You know what? Your dad was the ball boy or water boy, whatever it was. His dad, I'm sure, was doing something like that too. And here you are, and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. It sucks. It just sucks.
I don't want to not care. I want to care. Caring about this team was some of the most fun thing that I could do with my life for more than half of my life. And now it's getting to the point where I have to find other things to excite me, because there's no way I'm getting any sort of enjoyment out of it. This is
the origin story of Colin's trip to doing crack.
Yeah.
I need excitement.
Yeah.
Thank you, John Mara. We're best friends of
crack. Yeah. The Giants drove me to crack. Now that's the title of the episode.
We'll find you under the ramp into the Dream Mall across in the Meadowlands, smoking crack. If you need me.
I call me Anthony Kiedis East.
Sure.
In the basement of Xanadu.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good name.
Basement of Xanadu?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. I might text that to the band name chat after this is over.
It's like a Deep Purple song or something.
It's something a Rush song.
So we're playing another garbage team next week, so I hope we tie.
Bears? Yeah. Well, this actually is important. So
this is going to be the easiest game. It's a win-win for me. Whoever loses wins.
Please lose.
I prefer the Giants to lose.
Yeah.
But
well, because they're picking fourth now, so if they win, then that potentially could go back more. I'd say you want to keep as high a pick as you can, obviously, and if the second first round pick drops back a little bit, then fine. That's not the end of the world.
What if?
But I know you guys say there's no hope in the draft, but there are exactly what the Giants need are right on top of the draft in a premier edge rusher, premier offensive line. So you hope you snag one of those dudes and not a safety, which is like the other premier position up there, which I could totally see happening.
Yeah.
No, the Giants should actually be rooting for the Giants to lose because the Giants are 4-11 and the Bears are 5-10. So the Giants have the potential to have a worse record than more teams than the Bears do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Especially with the Houston winning, and did the Jets win as well? I think they did.
The Jets won.
Yeah, Houston won, Jets won. I mean, Jaguars are going to pick first overall again. That's obvious. But, if the Giants lose out and, this guy, what's this guy on the Texans? Mills? It's a third round pick or something?
Yeah.
He's looking good. They could win a game, especially against if someone, is going to sit their starters. I don't know who they're playing the last 2 weeks. Like if they play the Titans in the last week, which a lot of times is division games. Titans sit their starters, Texans win. Giants have every shot to get the second overall pick, basically.
Hey, is that guy related to Glennon at all? You seen the neck on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a long neck.
Yeah.
He could actually play football, though, it would seem.
Yeah,
although Glennon wasn't horrendous in his early years.
He wasn't
not
good
so much
either.
as it was. Yeah, but I mean, now it's just like really bad.
Yeah, well, I just hope for a 0-0 draw on Sunday.
I'm just ready for the season to be over.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan of football, so the playoffs will be fun. The Super Bowl will be fun.
Absolutely.
And I don't have to think about the Giants for a couple of weeks and just enjoy football.
Yeah,
which would be great.
We still have to do an episode per week, so
that's fine. We can talk about football.
Yeah, and whatever.
We can start talking about all the listener questions I've been getting in the emails because we got a backlog there that we really can burn through.
That's right. We should make a list next week and get on that.
Yeah.
Have we gotten one email from someone other than who we contacted to be on the show?
I think we got one the first season. We got one. If someone was trying to kill you, would you rather have Will Beatty or Eric Flowers protecting you?
Oh, was that from Steve?
That was from Nick, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah. I mean,
but like the good old days last season were like, it was still really bad, but you were like, Joe Judge might be all right.
Well, I was also just thinking too, as we creep up to the draft, we're going to get excited again. It's going to happen regardless of who the GM is. It's going to happen.
I was saying that you guys can't take my offseason excitement away from me. It'll never be gone because it's too fun.
Well,
it's way too fun.
It also takes a couple of months for it to start ramping up. And like, I go away from thinking about it and then I come back and I'm just like, oh, but spring's coming and we're starting anew and maybe.
I think that I was really excited up until they picked Kadarius Toney. And then after that, I was pretty angry for the rest of the offseason. By the way, I know I texted this guys yesterday, but I wanted to share it here. Do you think that not drafting Micah Parsons might be the worst decision of the entire Gettleman era?
I thought when it happened, it was the worst decision. And it came to fruition, hasn't it?
Worse than drafting Saquon?
Well, no, that was the guy that I thought was going to was going to change our team for the next 7
no one had convictions about Micah Parsons.
I loved him.
That's strong.
I loved him.
I mean, if you looking back though, from this perspective right now, that's a tough question, Dan. Is it worse that we drafted Saquon or worse that we didn't draft Parsons? You know what? I guess Saquon. I guess that would depend on who they get this year with the second first round pick that they traded down for.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I guess there's still a question mark, but yeah, I mean, drafting Saquon was put this franchise back so many years.
By the way, for Kadarius Toney's rejoining the team and playing this week, he had 4 receptions for 28 yards on 9 targets. That's he
From missed him a lot though.
He led the team in receiving. So
you know what I was going to ask you guys, like should he play quarterback?
Yes. I was not joking. 5 weeks ago when I said that. He's by far the best quarterback on the team.
That's so funny. And you said do mostly the Wildcat. Like I've seen 3 or 4 people tweet the same thing, which is funny. Yeah.
If you're trying to win games,
they won't do it.
Let me ask you guys, Jones is coming back. What should happen at quarterback otherwise? Who do the Giants bring in? Because Glennon's not the backup, and like, should it be? Oh, should they trade for Russell Wilson? Should they trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? Should they sign Andy Dalton? I mean, I think there's a lot of options out there.
You just answered your own question, so I'll leave it.
I'm asking you what they should do. I presented 3 scenarios.
It should be an Andy Dalton situation. Don't trade for someone. Save the picks. Get someone who's somewhat serviceable as a veteran, and just put the picks where they are better served. The line. I almost want 5 picks in the first 4 rounds that are just linemen. I mean, that's not even insane to think of at this point. They won't do it, but like, I wouldn't have a problem at all if the first 2 picks were offensive linemen at all.
Not even a little bit. No, sure. I would be thrilled. I mean, edge rusher's still there, but pretend Zoe Carter has 2 more great games. All of a sudden, you have 2 guys that can rush the passer.
Cool.
With Roche in the rotation, and supposedly Leonard Williams just gets a lot of pressures. I haven't seen it recently. Yeah. I guess he's hurt, but I think O-line is just so glaring, and it always has been. I think they played better this year than we thought they would, but I'm all in on Andy Dalton being signed to this team, or Fitzpatrick. I'm all in on that.
Oh, I'd love Fitzpatrick.
I think
That'd
you should
hilarious.
have a good backup quarterback who can push Daniel Jones, because that's all it's going to take. It's a good backup quarterback to push him.
I want to see him lose out to whoever this is.
Yeah. Well, I don't care, but I mean, just have them in place, so when he inevitably goes down with another injury, you don't lose everything. But yeah, in terms of the drafts, I think you need to have 2 offensive linemen in the first 2 rounds, in the very least. But as far as like what backup quarterbacks we want, definitely not Jimmy Garoppolo. Stay away from him.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota is the kind of guy you might be.
I wouldn't mind him.
That's a great bring up, Dan. He would be great on this team.
I mean, anybody pretty much would be. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, people who think that the Giants should trade for Russell Wilson can, you're worse. You're worse than the homers.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on giving up both first-round picks. I wouldn't want to do, but I give up one of them.
But it'll never happen. You probably have to give up 2 first-round picks, Jones, and another first-round pick the year after.
I mean, I give up like this year and next year,
and keep the one.
And keep one, so you can draft an offensive lineman for him.
Too many holes in the roster that you bring in Wilson and what he's. I mean, sure, it's a huge upgrade, but Seattle isn't good either. Their team isn't good. They might have a better defense than the Giants do too. Their offense is just not good, and they also can run the ball.
Well, I saw that Wilson, I guess, outright told someone in the media that he's done. He's definitely done in Seattle. That's it.
Oh, wow.
After this past week, he's just like, that's it. He must be sick of Carroll, frankly. And whatever they're is Carroll one of those doubling as a GM situations, or do they have someone else? I don't remember.
No, they have someone else. I forgot his name.
But the guy who was like the guy who put together those Super Bowl teams has since moved on to another team, I believe.
To the Jets.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know for sure.
But anyway.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add today? I think that was a spirited discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
at the least.
You know what? I wish I was more mad. I wish I could have like yelled and screamed, but that just plays into what I'm talking about. The fact that I don't care as much as I used to is the firiness isn't there, and I want that to come back. And someday it's going to be there again, but a lot of things have to change. So here's to
bring
hope.
It back.
Do you guys have any? Is this goods?
Yes, I have one.
All right, I have one.
Okay. Cowboys scored 42 points in the first half last night. Giants have scored 46 points in their last 4 games. Is this good?
The Giants ran 72 plays for 192 yards for an average of 2.6 yards per play. Is this good?
Oh, God.
This isn't stat driven, but it was really indicative of what was going on. And I laughed when I saw it. The Sun is the best player on the Giants offense right now. Is this good?
That's a slight to Graham Gano. MVP.
I mean, hell, here we go. 4 years of Gettleman and the Giants don't even have a mediocre punter. Is this good?
You know what's so weird? It's like Judge is this old school coach who's like talking about field position battles, and then you still have Riley Dixon as your punter. Like, there's nobody else out there that you could sign. There's nobody.
Loyalty, TJ.
Nobody.
He's one of their guys.
Why? There's nothing that makes sense anymore.
No.
I think, I should just probably take acid before I watch the game because it might make more sense next week.
No, you might just think you can fly or want to fly.
I believe the Giants can't fly.
Yeah, R. Kelly.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not dead, but
he should be. He should be.
Probably.
All right, let's call it a night. Thank you guys for listening. Please again follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Podnet on Twitter. Download that DraftKings app, and please don't forget to drop Dan a line. Big Blue United Podcast at gmail.com. He's waiting for you.
Waiting.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.